Welcome to the Black Terps Matter Experience, number 4, the fourth and final installation. We are streaming live on YouTube and Instagram Live from Black Terps Matter. And I'm Saba. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about the future of activism. And I'm really excited to talk about this because that's what this is. It's supposed to be Black Futures Month. It's February 2022. People are fed up. People are tired of talking about the past. And people are ready to start talking about the future. What we're going to do and what it's going to look like. So this has 2 parts. And the first part, we're going to be giving some honorable mentions of the people that helped out with the Black Terps Matter experience so far, because that is the future of activism. And then we're going to be having a conversation with Ty Hobson-Powell, who is a visionary futurist and activist and just all-around great person. And we're going to be talking about the future. So I'm just going to get straight into it. First, we're going to be talking about the wonderful organizations that helped out putting together the Black Terps Matter experience so far. So if you go to the Black Terps Matter page on Instagram, that's the easiest way to find these organizations I'm talking about because we've been working with them over the past month. So if you go on Instagram, you go to Black Terps Matter, you can easily find out all of these organizations, or you could just go to the their name when I say it. So Preventing Sexual Assault is the first organization that we worked with. PSA, you can find them on Instagram at PSA_UMD. They're a great organization that works to support survivors, and they're trying to change the rape culture at UMD. So it's honestly, in my opinion, one of the best organizations at getting shit done, quite simply. And the reason that they are so great at getting shit done is because they believe in the power of direct action. And that's just it. They're one of the only organizations on UMD's campus that hosts protests, rallies, and marches. They host them annually, and because of that, they continuously get meetings with the presidents. They get their campaigns pushed, and they just have a lot of people that know about what they consider the biggest issue on campus, which is sexual assault. That's what they consider the biggest issue on campus. So that is Preventing Sexual Assault. Shout out to them and the work that they do on UMD's campus. The second organization that we worked with was the New Radical. So that is an organization that is built out of 2 phenomenal women, Jamie Turner and her co-founder, who is right here, Diamond Broughton. So they're both phenomenal women. Oh, and their Instagram name is @TheNewRadical. So shout out to them. They are 2 phenomenal women that went to the illustrious Norfolk State University in Virginia, and they both graduated in political science and in English, respectively, Jamie and Dominique. So they decided to collaborate their talents to create this wonderful platform called The New Radical, which they give out a lot of great information, and they just point people in the direction of, honestly, where they can find books, literature, videos, music that can help radicalize people. So if you want to have your mind open, definitely check out The New Radical, @The New Radical. And the third platform that we worked with is called Root Questions, and we worked with them to produce a presentation about the history of Black student activism. That's what we talked about last week, the history of Black student activism. And so that was a great presentation, and the reason that I decided to work with Kyle and Root Questions is because that's what he does. He gives the history. This is his platform. Y'all can follow it at root.questions on Instagram, and also there's a website. But the whole point of it is asking root questions. So if you go to the page, you can see there's a lot of questions, like who is the world's largest polluter? Why aren't Americans class conscious? How do elites pay lower taxes than workers? Great questions that he breaks down in a series of 10 Instagram slides. So it makes it very easy to understand and retain this knowledge. And so, yeah, I definitely encourage everyone to check out that platform as well, because that's the future. Quite simply, that is the future of activism. That's the future of how we're going to be getting our information, sharing our information with other people. Oh, I see rude questions on the live right now. Hey, what's up? So yeah, that is the future. I also want to take people through how they can find out more about Black Terps Matter as an anti-racist coalition, because college student coalitions are the future. Young people have always been at the forefront of the fight, college student activists, so that's not going to change. It's going to continue to be that way. So if you want to find out more about Black Terps Matter, you can go to the link in our bio, and there you can find our website, or you can actually just Google us. You can literally Google Black Terps Matter. That's what I'm going to do. And this is not Google, but yeah, y'all get the vibes. And on our website, it has all of the information about us. Like, if you look us up on Google, you'll be able to go to our website very easily. It's the first link on Google. And so there we have an hour-long video talking about what is Black Terps Matter. If y'all ever really wanted to know, you're curious, Alyssa and I, the person that's on live with me right now, we broke it down. And that's free and open for everyone. And on the rest of our website, we have all the rest of the information about us, our mission statement, land acknowledgement statement, clips from our protests and direct actions, and all of the above, basically. So yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Black Terps Matter if you don't already, and you can email us at this is our email address, blackatATUMD@gmail.com. So, just had to give the little plug. And now we're going to move on to the second section of this, the future of activism. So, in the second section, we're having a special guest named Ty Hobson-Powell come in, and we're going to be having a conversation about the future of activism. So, Ty, feel free to come on down. I called you. You was your cue, nigga.
You called me?
Yes, I did.
Oh, man. Damn.
It's all good. All right, so now we're here with Ty Hobson-Powell. We're gonna be having this conversation. Hold on, let me set this up straight. You might have to. Oh, this is no. Yeah, scoot over just a little bit more. All right, cool. Let me fix this.
Hi, Mom. My mom be watching shit like this.
All right, cool. So now we have Ty here with us. So I'm gonna give Ty the opportunity to introduce himself as this one. I'm gonna give Ty the opportunity to introduce himself, and then we're gonna talk about how we got to meet each other as activists, and then we're just gonna get right into this conversation. So Ty, please introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello. I wish I knew how to do hello in sign language. You know that?
I don't know.
I hope that's like some kind of universal. Ty Hobson-Powell, 26 years old.
Native Washingtonian.
Put that shit on.
Went to college.
Went to college.
A couple times.
Did some work a couple times. New daddy to a beautiful baby girl. Go Gigi.
Hey Gigi.
And Yeah, I don't know. Like, really, I would just say that I'm a concerned citizen, and like, that's like a general sort of catch-all for a lot of the shit that I do, which is kind of, I guess, sort of what went to that name. It's just like, at the end of the day, I just be caring about shit. Like, I don't really have a set agenda. I don't work on any specific slate of issues. I just feel like I attach to what matters to me, and yeah, I just try to just stir up some action about it, and you know. Yeah.
Cool. I respect it. Thanks for introducing yourself. So, yeah, now we can talk about how we met. We actually met protesting. Do you remember? No, he probably doesn't. So we
It wasn't at Naya Jump.
No, it wasn't.
I met you before that.
Yes. You actually okay. So Ty and I actually met at a concerned citizens protest.
Jeez.
I was just a regular student, college student at UMD that wanted to protest. So I actually.
So you had Black Terps Matter then still?
No, actually, this is actually before Black Terps Matter started. Fun fact. This is in June.
Wow.
Yeah, May, June of 2020. And so I actually met Ty at, like I said, a concerned citizens protest. I actually came up to him at the beginning of the protest and introduced myself. So that's how Ty and I met. He didn't know who I was. I just walked up to him and I had to introduce myself. And then after that, on Instagram, I DM'd him and I was like, hey, I'm the person that introduced myself. But the funny part is, and the reason that he probably doesn't remember this, is because before I started Black Terps Matter, I was very low key, and I went by alias. So I was going by my alias, which I don't use anymore, so I can say it, Jasmine. So I was like, hey, it's Jazz, and so that's probably why he does it. But fun fact, just protesting, just protesting.
That's crazy.
Things. Yeah, I looked in the messages on the DMV Action Tank page, June 2020, like. Said, hey, I'd like to work with you. And so now look at us. So yeah, fast forward 2 years after we met. Ty and I both have been, remained extremely active in our communities like this entire time. And so I had the opportunity to kind of, join forces with Ty in his journey to do everything that he was talking about in the beginning, which was kind of just make the world a better place, generally speaking. Generally speaking. And so concerned citizens, like he was talking about before, he's just a concerned citizen. I too am a concerned citizen. And what that really means is, just trying to make the world a better place with the resources that we have and the opportunities that we have. And we try and put other people on to opportunities because that's the direction that we have to move forward with each other. Yeah. And speaking of that, the future of activism is now what we're here talking about. And so we have a couple topics, and we're just gonna talk about some of those topics. So Ty, one of the things that we talked about, and Ty's a little bit of a jokester, so we know.
I'll be so serious, guys.
Serious, but a little bit of a jokester. This is a disclaimer, last disclaimer I'm gonna give. Now we can just get right into it. So yeah. We talk a lot about tech and just the future of exactly how we're going to be adopting it, and NFTs and a lot of stuff like that in the metaverse. And so just kind of digging a little into the topic of tech and the future, how do you plan on using your position in concerned citizens to adopt NFTs and that kind of just adopting that entire technology of NFTs? How do you plan on doing that?
So first off, just in general, I want to have a conversation around Web3, the Black community, kind of start there and then work my way into it, right? So you hear the metaverse, and there's a lot of people of color, and they're like, what the fuck? No, it's like Ready Player One. People are gonna be stuck in the headsets, and they're not gonna care, and da. It's the apocalypse, it's the Antichrist, blah blah blah, all this shit, right? And it's deeply frustrating me because in line with a spirituality that's been used to justify slavery, right? It's kind of those same fears. That's keeping people from wanting to engage it, right? Mm-hmm. But when you look at what let's go back to the 90s, right? Let's go back to really the emergence of the internet and technology as we know it now. Cell phones and all of that shit on its way, right? When the internet was coming, people were like, this is about to be a bubble. People thought the internet was about to be a bubble.
Yeah, and pop and be over.
Now, can you imagine, like, if you were somebody who bet on the earliest installations of internet? Where are you now?
Yeah, like Google.
Like, think about all of the generations billionaires. Where did they come from? The internet sector. It was Google's, it was Facebook's, it was Microsoft's, it was all of these different things. And so Web3 is presenting us with another, I feel like, emerging sort of technology that is about to be here. It is about to be the normal thing. And we will be well advised to like buy into it. So NFTs, as like a subset of that, is like
something that you're capable of doing.
Is a non-fungible token. Now, traditionally, I would say like the obstacles for NFT ownership is like it costs a lot of money to make one, or to transmit it. It costs like $53, let's say, to send the NFT. But everybody don't got $53. Sometimes it
could cost. Everyone doesn't have.
Yeah, everybody don't got that. Sometimes it can cost more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what really am I trading? Because you look at it, it's a GIF. It's a picture of a fucking cat. It's a picture of a dragon. You're saying to yourself, like, how can I do it? And it's like, what people are missing is like, don't look at this actual individual art, because all they did was cultivate their community of people who gave a fuck. And that's what gave that piece of art that valuation.
So that's what the art is.
You do the same for your cause, though. Like, you have an opportunity in this space to, let's say, you know what I'm saying, and this is a concept that I've thrown out there. We have a lot of footage.
Oh, pictures,
archives,
and videos, and
things that will be one day the history books, compositions of America in regards to what this moment was, right? We have a lot of that front lines footage. And when I say we, I'm speaking to the larger organizing community. That's all across, right? Everybody that was filming.
Everybody in the movement, yeah.
People in Portland, people in D.C., people in New York. You're having these things that were really, really, really historical moments. Moments in time that mattered. In this space where we're watching people selling videos of like a dunk or like an event, something noteworthy that happened, you don't think that watching the cops coming down the street like stormtroopers in front of the White House is something that is you know, rare scene footage? You know, like something that has value, something that could be, because we had a lot of people that were on the front lines capturing it, also a generative project for organizers who already were under-resourced, right? It's like, it's almost like, for what I was able to capture, I can now monetize it to something.
So you're saying people are basically being distracted by like the crazy apes and
the
stuff, the current pictures of NFTs, and they're not thinking deeper into, we could really be utilizing this as a community, as
people are buying into, they're latching on to specific
the very
subsets. Crazy apes, stoned apes, whatever. That's one community. Just like every community. Like, there's always going to be like some shit going, like on this internet, there's like a cat lovers page. You know, and there's a dog lovers page, and there's different, like, so you can create your own community within this larger system. What I want people to understand is that, like, and recently Kanye had made a statement about this, where he was like, you know, I'm focused on doing things in the real world. I'm focused on doing it like, NFTs can be things that generate real life, real resources. We've seen it. Like, we've seen people get real capital off of NFTs.
I was going to say, it's capital at the end of the day.
We've seen the little black girl that made the long neck figurines. She's a millionaire.
Cash out.
She's a millionaire. She's a teenager. Like, how else was she going to do that regularly? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's providing opportunities. We're looking at an opportunity, I think, for like one of the largest redistributions of wealth in American history.
Through Web3.
Through Web3. And like, not even just in terms of like American history, but like actual history, right? Like, El Salvador just made Bitcoin their official currency and shit. We're about to see like some real interesting sort of engagements as it relates to like finance and really just reimagining all of it, right? But like, I feel like Web3 is kind of at the core of that. And so we would be well advised to at least be locked in step with it. Like, even the people that didn't like the internet but understood how to use it did well.
I was
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not asking you to love it.
It's the ones that were really against it that got stuck.
That got killed by the time. And it's like, I'm not asking you to love it. I'm not asking you to go and buy every Oculus and the little hand jumps and shit like that.
Just learn it or be
understand that it's there, right? Because like, so like when I'm from the last of the house phone generation, right? Like it's 26, 27, 28. We're the last of that. When we were kids, we were watching cell phones being introduced, whereas now like kids are growing up with cell phones, right? And so it's like, you have to also take into account the same, you know, parents or whatever that were against their kids having a cell phone maybe back then when it was emerging. It's kind of a little bit harder to do now. You want to keep up with your kid. How do you do that in this world? How you do? And so you got to understand that like slowly over time, all of these concepts and shit, if they are viable, they're going to get baked into society anyway. And so if you don't learn them, you're going to be left behind. And that's typically what has happened historically, is because there was a state-sanctioned effort to keep us away from resources. So now with our freedom, we got to go and get all of that shit. Yeah. We got to go and know everything. I'm not saying you engage in everything, but I'd be damned if I'm watching a motherfucker make $1 million for a picture of a cat, and I don't say to myself, damn, let me try to scrape a couple $100,000 for my picture at the damn monument doing this. You know, like, we gotta try to engage. And everything ain't gonna hit, but like just the attempts alone means that something will. I don't you know what I'm saying, a larger community, and that to me is a win.
I agree. Cool. So thanks for sharing your thoughts on just like the fact that we do need to adopt this emerging tech. So now let's take a turn and talk about movements. What, you want some water?
No, I'm taking a turn.
Oh, you're taking a turn. He's taking a turn. And now we're talking about movements, coalition building. Mm-hmm. Coalition building across state lines, across the country, and yeah, just your ideas on that and how we can better like all utilize each other.
Just because you mentioned water now, I want to go get some water.
Yeah, you should. I have my water right here. I'm about to drink some. But yeah, coalition building across state lines, across different communities, all of that jazz. Like, is that important? Is it like, how can we do it? Like, what is that? Because I know the DC community is the one that, the DMV community is the one that we mostly work in. But right. Yeah, I know that you've also done things like gone to Louisville, and you've gone to a lot of different places. But you specifically went there to protest. And so I know that you know about other organizations. So that's my question, is really just
like coalition building across state lines. It looks like not being weird as shit. I mean, let's be honest, people get real.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say? It looks like what?
It looks like not being weird as shit.
Oh, that's what it looks like. We have to not be weird. Okay.
We gotta not be weird. People are very like.
That's good. That's a good point.
I guess territorial to some end. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, they want their space to be respected. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, even I've seen it in coalition here, where like when foreign entities come in and try to start moving themselves around in a certain way, it's like, did you check in with anybody on the ground?
So checking in is very important.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's not like, I don't know, hood shit, like you checking in with the gang and like you're not gonna get beat up because you want to fight for justice in a different way. It's more just like a deferential thing. Like, you know, like, I respect what you guys are doing here, and before I would add my effort towards running in a direction nowhere, if you guys are already doing a thing, let me support, let me add capacity to that, instead of trying to show up and grandstand and do my own shit, because people will go and literally make their own little soapbox on, you know what I'm saying, an already consolidated effort in a local space where like maybe they were getting some traction on this. You come and bring all of this, and now it's a whole another direction. So I think really just respecting the wishes of the organized community on the ground. Also, like, you know, respecting the principle, whoever is at the core of you know, like if you're organized around George Floyd, what does the Floyd family want?
Absolutely.
What does, you know, because we start letting these what do I even refer to them as? Conflict entrepreneurs, I guess. Career conflict entrepreneurs. People that always traditionally can make soapboxes on dead people, notable black dead people. We allow them to come in sometimes to dictate the narrative a little bit too much. Allow them to have a sphere of influence that kind of just really just rules out the parents to the point where they're just sort of there for like the emotional, hey, come cry at the press conference shit, and then everybody else come back for their 60 seconds of fame. And so I think that like in a lot of the coalition building, like I said, when you know what you're going in for, know who the folks are at the heart of that, and make sure that what you're doing is in line with what they want also. Because sometimes there are times where maybe there is a larger organizing effort that is going on. When you get to the heart of who's truly affected, maybe they didn't want that, and they get vocal about it. And, you know, so it's important to do that check-in as well. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, one community can't speak for, you know, that particular person or set of people that are going through a thing. So I would say that's it. And then just honestly being teachable. Don't nobody like to work with anybody that feels like they know everything. Like always be able to be engaged, listen. Honestly, just do more listening than talking in coalition. Like really, like, because at the end of the day, coalition is implying that you're in there in a body with multiple entities. So like give everybody some time, no one to lean in, no one to lean back. Like it's, I don't know, I feel like it's more intuitive in that way. Like I had siblings growing up, so it kind of just worked naturally like that. And I played on teams and sports and things like that as well. And I pledged, you know, Kappa Alpha Psi. So like this idea of like team and like doing it for a higher purpose, like, it's sort of been ingrained in me. And that's a lot of what you take into coalition building. You're really just respecting.
Yeah, some people don't have that background, and they don't have that perspective when it comes to coalition building and just teamwork. So that makes it kind of hard. And some people make it seem like we're working against each other.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily like
you don't even gotta like everybody in your coalition either. That's the whole crazy shit. You don't even gotta like everybody in your coalition. That's the thing. It's a whole lot of people that I do this work with that I do not like, for sure. But I like the fact that you can show up with your body, with your time, and your energy for the same shit that we out here fighting for. I would like you enough for that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really that to me is it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even like I said, going back to all of those things that I just listed out as affiliations and affinities. My fraternity, I haven't liked every single frat brother that I've met, but it's a certain love and respect that I have for you for having done what I did, right? Same thing, sports. I didn't like every teammate that I had ever, but I like you enough for this shared goal to be our thing. If you open, I'm finna pass the ball. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like that's
do what you need to do to get it done.
That to me is coalition building. It's putting ego aside in favor of like higher ideals, but like really doing that shit. Because when it comes time to like set whatever your personal feelings are aside for a larger goal, are you willing to do it? Or are you gonna be the one that shows up
Salty.
and says and does inflammatory shit, throws off the vibe?
Don't be that guy.
You know what I'm saying? Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy in the future.
Now, granted, there is a such thing as righteous disturbance. So if you morally feel like you have to do it, then you know definitely shake the table up and shit. But like I'm saying, a lot of the time it just is ego. It's people showing up and wanting it to be about them when it's like no one person is ever going to do this shit. Like we done had so many great, marvelous leaders that have led the way. We're standing on the shoulders of giants, but none of them did it. Like we're all collectively doing it based on the progress that they built on from the people that did it before them. Like it's all, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like we lose power when it starts becoming about individuals, which is why like I constantly am trying to do coalition building, right? To get breadth and depth of perspectives. Okay, what do you guys think? Because even in like the DC organizing community, right? Like we have like, I guess some people that you would like term like more reformist. Some people you would term more true abolitionists. Some people you would refer to as anarchists, right? Like self-declared communists, right? So there's all these different identifications, and they don't all align with what the best course of action is. Everybody don't all view electoral politics or acknowledgement of the state, which is already sitting on stolen land, and they're like, you get what I'm saying? There's so many different.
It's
so
not
many
like they necessarily
approaches.
put together pieces of the pie, but it's like it's still like they all have a foundation that they understand, and they're all like basically working together.
Yep.
And yeah, I agree with that. There's a lot of different types of organizations.
It's fighting for like a general essence of liberation, and like I will best get my piece of that thing that I'm looking for through helping us get this thing that we're looking for, sort of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Where
it's like nobody's sort of vision governs, but everybody's vision governs because we're fighting for everybody's shit, but like nobody's in particular, just like all of it.
Yeah. All right, so time for another conversation turn. All right, let's talk about Black women. Let's talk about Black women, the importance of Black women in the movement, and the importance of Black women's narratives. I know, like, we talk about it sometimes. It's important to have our own narrative. We shout out people like Ivy Wells. We shout out people who do, like, have the opportunity to have their story told. But in the future, like, literally starting 2022 and looking to the future, what can we do to make sure that Black women are supported, protected, and specifically that their voices and narratives are heard and told?
Use the platform to share their name and share the work that they're doing. So, like, you know, the mother of my child runs a nonprofit. You know, she works in domestic violence. She has a nonprofit called From Pain to Power. She actually just launched a company today, Sub Rosa Defense, that has, you know, women's self-defense items, maces and little prickly things to stab some shit up, and, you know, like,
that's really cool.
It's like
women need that.
It's highlighting. It's sad that women need that, but it's true.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? But like, it's highlighting that work, right? It's highlighting a K, a Sky, a U, right? Like, and really doing the work of, like, just telling people about you. Like, I don't know, like, I brag about you guys all the time. And
normalize bragging on Black women.
Yeah, normalize that. Normalize throwing them names in circles, and like if you see that you on a panel or something that's all dudes, like, give up your spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done that plenty of times. Like, just there's no Black women up here. Like, let's do that. Let's make space. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I think allyship. People think allyship is like an outcome when it's like it's an ongoing thing. Allyship is requiring showing up relative to what that need is in the moment. Because, like I said, maybe it might be leaning back. Maybe it might be leaning in. You see somebody harassing a Black woman or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, maybe it might be leaning back, giving this Black woman her space, letting her feel peaceful, understanding this climate in this world, and letting her just walk home feeling safe. You know what I'm saying? Not catcalling, not doing this weird shit, right? Like, I think that
be an ally to the Black woman.
Truly be an ally, and, like, let that be like an ongoing thing. I think supporting Black women looks like listening to them. And when I say that, I can say that, like, in my life, the lights of my life have always been Black women. Like, they always be the ones that hit me to my blind spots and, like, set me in the right direction. And, like, I would say damn near all of my best opportunities have flowed from Black women. I'm talking about employment. I'm talking about just, like, anything you can think of. So really just listening to them. I mean, like, Black women are divine. And when I say it, it's not like some head ass shit. It's like, really, it's like, it's tried and tested. Like, it's proven. Like, Black women being aligned with the thing, it usually ends up in success. I mean, shit, we start hearing the stories, like, with Hidden Figures about how they were aligned with, like, NASA and all these different things, right? But, like, imagine how many other things that really a Black woman was behind if they were just sort of just sitting on the side for recipes and all kind of shit, right? So, like, me as a child of history, like, understanding how many of those moments had to have happened is to not want those moments to happen in the future, and just to listen. And then it's I would just say another way to protect Black women is stop with these lame ass stereotypes. Like, these like, comedians and shit. Like, if you gotta, like, impersonate a Black woman to be funny, bro, you're not funny at all. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You're not funny enough.
That's,
you
yeah,
need
you know
to go find something.
Yeah, I'm about to say you're not funny enough.
It's a trope, and it's tired.
It's shit.
It's a tired trope.
You know what I'm saying? Because there are some people that do it and also have other funny content on the side besides that. But it's like, why, y'all? Like, you know what I'm saying? We can let that one go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would just as soon be frustrated that these stereotypes are being perpetuated, but then we'll go and do that shit for some retweets and some likes. And so it's like, yeah, pack it up, put it in a box, pack that shit up.
Alright, so stop making fun of Black women, shamelessly, and yeah, that's one. Listen to the Black woman and be an ally to the Black woman.
A true ally.
Yeah, in real time. I like what you said about allyship changes with what's needed. Like, your allyship should change with what's needed. And that's the approach that I take to activism. Always, you know, you center the victim, you center who is vulnerable, you center who is needed. and their needs change. So, yeah. And along with that, as a shameless plug, Saba Speaking Volume 2, look it up on Google. Black Terps Matter, it's only fitting. At the Black Terps Matter Experience, gotta plug Saba Speaking Volume 2, so I'm dropping a collection of speeches tonight. Y'all can look it up on Google. Saba Speaking Volume 2. Black Terps Matter. Volume 2. 2022. It's the day of alignment. And yeah. So now we're going to take another turn in the conversation. And we're going to talk about Joe Biden and electoral politics.
Joe Biden!
The future of electoral politics. But we got to take some time to talk about the current president, because while we would love to talk about the future, we are in the present. And Joe Biden is currently the president. He's been president for about a year and 2 months. No, a year and a month. And in this year, he's broken some promises.
Broken promises or just lied. Just at the end of the day, it's already enough that we had to make a concession, right? And even vote. We had two mediocre ass, stale ass white men to vote for in this past election. They tried to sprinkle Kamala in there for the little diversity, equity, and inclusion quota. Like, hey y'all, this is why you should really care. Change the future and shit like that. But all in all, we knew there was lies. We knew that we were not getting really any revolutionary change because he told us. He kind of really delivered rhetoric that was in line with how he's showing up now, and so it's not really a surprise.
So you mean throughout his entire time as vice president?
Throughout his entire time as Joe Biden.
The last 30 years.
Throughout his entire time as Joe Biden. Come on, bro.
So he's only been acting he's been acting the same way, basically.
If he was so revolutionary, then when he was a key holder and Senate in the ways that he was, come on, revolutionary change would have happened under Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep that shit all the way straight. So it's true political theorists and people who understand electoral politics never expected revolutionary change. What they expected is in a world we saw a more sort of blatant turn towards this right-wing extremism, right, that we had with Trump, a reset back a little closer to the center, right, and that sort of midpoint that politics knows that sways back and forth from election cycle to election cycle. That's what we wanted. Just a tug back in another direction. You know what I'm saying?
Tug back in another direction. I think that's a great way to put it.
And so you looked at how many white liberals, when Joe Biden got elected, they said,
work here is done.
Return back to normal. Fell into bear in mind that that return back to normal was still inadequate as a system for people of color, for the LGBTQ community, for undocumented folks here, for, you know what I'm saying, so many different, for poor folks, for so many different marginalized people who were being left out of the promise of America before Trump. They gonna be left out after him. You know what I'm saying? Donald Trump didn't introduce all of this to us. You know what I'm saying? He was just one sort of person that was there. And so when I saw Joe Biden getting elected, it really felt like a lesser of two evils sort of thing. And then even then the lesser is relative, because it's lesser in what sense? We haven't really seen any substantial change on COVID or any sort of normalcy around that, right?
Yeah, we're actually getting some lies from the presidential office about COVID.
We haven't seen, any traction on justice. You know what I'm saying? Black people are still dying.
At disproportionate rate.
Black people still, you know what I'm saying, getting assaulted on camera. And we just saw the video of the young black dude in the mall. So it's what really changed? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that I even have conversations with now, and they're like, yo, shit, I miss Trump, because at least I got 1,400 with the bullshit. And it's what can I even say to them at this point in time?
Shout out to my baby cousin. He said that.
What can I even say to them? What can I say to...
I don't know what I can say to them.
What can I say to the young people that are in rural America where that 1,400 is literally that shit means something, right? So it's really substantial. It came a couple times, right? And so in your mind, you're okay, I typically, as somebody who's living in this part of America or that part of America, don't regularly engage with federal politics anyway. This shit not really affecting the day-to-day life that I live in anyway. I hear about them big policies and shit, but that's up there, right? But that check is real. I can go spend that. I can get a PS5, get my hair did. I seen a whole lot of lobster. I seen a whole lot of whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? We seeing this expenditure, right? Like that 1,400 is substance.
It made the markets.
What did Joe Biden give us? Like, damn, he didn't even see that was there. He didn't see that college debt was a low-hanging fruit. He did a reading to see the constitutionality of clearing debt. Supreme Court said he could do it. He still didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
And then he took free colleges off the table for the young folks. And he had his wife say it. Shout out Jill.
Shout out.
Shout out Jill from Delaware.
Shout out to the first woman, man. You know what I'm saying? First lady, first woman, first educator.
But Joe Biden is not... Like, we got re-election coming up. I'm not re-election. We have election coming up. I said re-election. He's trying to get re-elected.
Hey, that's what I'm about to say. I was like, yo.
it's
so we got re-election
coming up. Election coming up.
Damn. So look, this is also another issue that I have. I want to talk about it right now.
Okay, go ahead.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are talking about they want to run again in 2024.
Yes, re-election.
I take a serious issue with that because
let's talk about how old he is real quick. Not that we're ageist or anything.
I'm not even gonna get into how old he is right now. He's old enough.
83.
He's well seasoned. He's mature. He's the oldest president in history. I think Donald Trump was the oldest president. I think he was like the oldest president right after him or something something very special. We went from just back to back old white guys, which is cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, my thing is this. I'm not tagging him for his age. I'm not tagging him for his race. I'm gonna get a little bit more into why I brought up 80 before. I'm hitting him for his competency. I mean, his age definitely matters.
And it goes hand in hand with
because there's antiquated ways of thinking with that age. There's him thinking about yesterday when we're living in today. There's that kind of shit going on with the age gap, I feel sometimes. But there's also this, because you're old, this cockiness to feel like you don't need to move your position. Because you are this established statesman. Like, because I have this, like, bro, I've been in Congress more years than you've been alive. Like, because I can say shit like that, I feel as though I should never have to listen to anybody. And it's like, that's crazy. And like I said, it's sad because I was disappointed in a world where I didn't have high expectations. I don't even think I had expectations. I was just like, yo, just do something. Like
before he came into office.
Just do something. Just literally just do something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, anything. It's like if I'm watching a fight and I know somebody's about to lose, just like fight back. Just do something. Just do something. Come on, Joe.
You're not seeing that.
Joe, fight back against white supremacy. Joe, just give me something. Fight back against college debt. Just do something. Anything. I'm not seeing even the attempt.
Yeah, make a hard push.
Make a hard push, bro. I know this is the big bully in the room, but show me that you're not scared of this shit. He didn't do that.
It's giving business as usual. It's giving very same shit with the foreign. I don't even want to get into Joe talking about Russia when all this stuff going on.
Joe Biden got to pack it up, man.
But yeah, so that's the current executive office. But let's talk about electoral politics, like just the future of that, and I guess, and also in relation to activism. So we have the D.C. mayoral election coming up, and we got some. I don't want to talk too specifically. I mean, we don't have to basically, but I basically just want to know like what you think about that, and if you can give us some of your thoughts on in relation to D.C. statehood, like why this mayoral election is important.
So in this mayoral election, we got Rodney Grant.
Who's a comedian?
Rodney Red Grant. He's also one of the Noops. Shout out to the Noops. You know what I'm saying? We got
DC native.
DC native for sure. You know what I'm saying? We got Trayon White. We got
DC native, council member.
We got Robert White running.
Council member, DC native.
We got Muriel running.
Not a DC native, right?
I don't know what she got going on. I can't even.
I think she lives in Maryland. She's from Maryland.
I can't even speak to that.
But she's the incumbent.
But what I want to speak to is something I'm sure that you're informed of. Is the polling that recently was released that said that she's up about 30 percentage points on either of those candidates that I listed out. I think they listed Robert and Trayon White respectively at like 17, 16, or maybe 17 and 17, and her somewhere around 47. So, meaning if the election were to be run today, she would win with the landslide, right? Now, it is I don't know. It's kind of disheartening a little bit, right? Because we have been organizing now for years now. 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah.
What is it?
2, 3 years.
You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't envision that from all of the political commentary that was stirred up during that moment, that it would be so much of still of a landslide in that direction, just politically, just again, just as like a student of the game and just sort of watching it, especially
because
when you
if the
look
people
at
weren't okay with it, what was going on, then they're not going to support the person that's currently in charge.
That is driving.
Nothing positive has happened, has changed in the past 2 years in DC, but
Exactly.
DC's mayor is still
the same. And so I thought to myself, well, maybe there will be this backing behind the celebrity, right?
the comedian.
Maybe there will be this backing behind the guy that everybody likes because he looks like us, because he tells it how it is, because he's, you know what I'm saying, from the neighborhood. He reminds us of us. He gives us Marion Barry feels, right?
And he's already been elected by the people.
That
in the
organic,
blackest
embedded
ward in DC.
And then we have in that race also somebody who can poll very well amongst all different
Council member
groups.
at large, right? He's a current council member at large.
Can poll well amongst all different groups, right? And so when I heard about the race that was unfolding, I said, damn, they're gonna shred some percentage
points on her
off her shit.
They have to.
They're gonna do that. And like, I don't know, I mean, it's still, you know what I'm saying, we're still some time away. And I think that there is some room to
8 months.
Make some ground. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We got 8 months until the election now.
So I think just in general, you know, because it's not even just city council. It's city council at large, the mayor,
attorney general,
Senate. Well,
yeah.
Eleanor
okay, so you have to say that you don't have voting power.
Oh yeah, we're not a state.
So,
fuck Congress.
Yeah, DC statehood now. DC statehood now.
Yeah.
So they do. DC residents are going to be voting for a senator, but the senator is not going to be their vote once they cast it. It's not going to be counted because DC is not a state.
Yeah, Eleanor.
Some clarification.
Eleanor can.
Eleanor
she can introduce legislation, but she can't vote. Yeah, like, you know, she's been a champion for statehood. Shout out to the honorable delegate Eleanor Holmes Norton, who has been, you know, a trailblazer in this work for decades now.
Trying to get DC statehood.
You know, it is a travesty that as we're having all of these larger sort of conversations, moments of enlightenment, that we still haven't figured out that, like, enfranchising people that live in the capital just makes sense. Like, we are quite literally the only advanced nation in the world that has left out the capital locale from, like, the larger system of governance that, like, runs the country. And it makes no sense.
Still pay taxes.
Like, it makes no sense. We pay the highest federal taxes. We have more people than a couple states. We generate more, you know what I'm saying, per year than quite a few states. So it's really just like, it begs the question why. You know, I mean, historically, people are going to say it's because we needed an impartial seat of power, not beholden to any one state, so as to situate all of our federal institutions, right? That might be true. That might have been true during the earlier iterations of Washington. But at some point in time, Washington became black, and they were like, hell no. That's too lit.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We're not even.
I was about to say that.
That's
it's because they don't want the black people to have power.
That's when it got stalled. If DC became a state, it would become the only majority black state in the entire United States. That's all 50, soon to be 51 of them. We would be the only majority black state. we will be the only place to have a majority black legislature, all black, like black executives and all, like, yo, shit would be really revolutionary. Like, that's black future as fuck. DC as a state, that's black future. Because when you talk about all of the things that like represent that black futurism, black women leading, I mean, we've had black women mayors, we've had black women sitting in the highest elected offices in this space, really driving decision making, black council members. To this day, our Janice Lewis Georges, right? The ones that are, you know what I'm saying, making a way. So it's like we have that. DC statehood is black future, man. And it needs to happen soon. I don't want to wait until DC, it already dwindled away from being a chocolate city to like, you know, it's like, I don't even know what we call that, John. It's like 50. It's about, DC is about 46% black now.
Yes, Lord.
And 46 and decreasing. So, you know what I'm saying? It's transitioning. I don't want DC to start getting rights and statehood when everybody's living in PG County and
it'll be too late.
Moco and pushed out to Baltimore and shit like that. Like, I want DC to still have some of its original composition, in as much as it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, given the fact that we are all on stolen indigenous land, I always got to make that. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to the Piscataway corner.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Piscataway folks whose land we reside on, right? But like, at least some semblance of people of color still maintaining a presence. That's what I'm about. You know what I'm saying? And really just making sure that DC becomes a state in my lifetime, you know, and just to look at the trajectory of Eleanor Holmes Norton and see how long she's been fighting for it. It's like, man, this shouldn't be a decades-long fight, you know what I'm saying? It should be something that we see. It's not a Democrat issue, it's not a Republican issue. It's like, let's just do the right thing type deal, you know what I'm saying?
Cheers to seeing DC statehood in our lifetime.
Tell you.
Ours or Gigi's.
I mean, if it's not in Gigi at that point in time, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I imagine by then people will probably be in space or some shit. Like,
no,
you know
they're definitely going to space next month.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You know, they're already selling, like, what is it, like $300,000 tickets to go to space? Like, that's like next month.
I always used to ask my nana, I was like, yo, you want to go to space? Oh, heavens no. When they start doing that, I am right here. I want to be on terra firma. And like, literally, I'm kind of just like the same way. Like, y'all can have that spaceship. Like, honestly, if all the rich assholes just flew their ass off to space right now, I would be cool with that.
Nah, they would
want to still have a hold here.
That's what I was going to say. Not even just a hold, but I was also thinking, at first I was like, they might just blow this joint up. But then I'm like, nah, they still need people to work for them.
And they would want a place to come back to, okay, shit get unchy in space. You know, they're not dumb. Maybe. But like, I don't know. As I look into like the sort of future, and I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, my baby girl, she gonna be alive and just chilling at like 2085 and shit. Like, you know, like, it's
gonna be a crazy year.
That's crazy. Like, that's crazy to even think about. And like, thinking about like,
she probably watch this.
Yeah, definitely. She definitely would probably watch this.
Gigi. Shout out to you, baby.
Shout out future Gigi.
Yeah, shout out to the baby. Shout out to the kids for a second.
Yeah, shout out.
Because this is really who this is for. So if you're watching this and you're under 25, just know you're smart. Ahead of your time.
Shout out baby Noah. That's my niece. She was born a couple weeks before my daughter. And I love her and my daughter because they remind me of the immense promise that this generation really has. Like I'm just looking at them and like how they're acquiring skills and things like that. And I'm thinking to myself, if like social justice is something that is equipped in that toolbox early on, like if that had been something that was like formally triggered in me as a young person, like I was being given, like, I mean, granted, I feel like my parents did give me little shit to like encourage me to use my agency and stuff, but like just having that sort of like structured as a conversation, like, yo, this is what this shit is, like this, and like, you know, these are ways to make your voice heard, whatever, like what I would have become. I mean, I still ended up becoming something alright, right? But you know, like just
I see what you're saying.
Get like just that intentional reinforcing, like this is like this is. You know what I'm saying?
Something that's really important.
Yeah, organizing is important.
The sooner that you start to learn about this, you know, you wouldn't kick yourself. You'll be happy that you know about this stuff sooner, like the history of our people and the history of activism as well.
It's like if a musician is raising a baby, like they emphasizing the importance of music. You get what I'm saying? Because as a practitioner of it, they're going through all of the things that pertain to music. So it's like for me as an organizer, when I'm thinking about raising any children, it's like, yo, off the rip, we teach you how to use your voice. We teaching you to show up for those who have the least. We teach you like as like an intentional act of like, yo, this is who you're about to become. Like, this is part of your shit that I'm giving you as a dad type deal. So like that's always the most encouraging to me, because there's a lot of you know what I'm saying, little babies out here and
it's quite a lot.
Young,
Pandemic babies.
Shout
out to y'all.
If
you're watching this in the future and you're a pandemic baby, shout out to you.
You know, so just I think really just supporting the future, man. I love the little kids. I love the babies.
Yes.
I love the babies.
Ty knows, but I coach a youth basketball team.
Yeah.
That's something I don't talk about a lot, but they are really the future, like.
And the now.
And we really need to give them a lot of respect, and we really need to, like, this is the only reason I'm saying this, we really need to encourage them to speak. Someone young told me this recently. They said, no one ever asked me to speak. No one ever asked me to, speak on behalf of anyone else. No one asked me to speak up. And I'm like, all right, well, I am now. And they're like, well, you're the first person. And that's just so crazy to me to think about the fact that people aren't encouraging people, like people that consider themselves grown or adults. Like, it's really, it's supposed to be in us to give back to those that are younger than us, and encouraging people to speak and use their voice and use the resources that they have around them is what we need to be doing.
No, I'm filming.
And yeah, so.
I'm not actually on the phone. I was just, I was just trying to see how that would look like on
camera. Because I'm about to be like, anyways. Yeah.
No.
Just talking about the kids.
Man, if it's less than $1 million, I'm not trying to talk.
Yeah, this
All
is
right.
regular phone calls for this
All
guy,
right.
Hobson-Powell. So yeah, if you don't know this man now, you're gonna know him very soon. Anything else that you'd like to say in regards to the future of activism, Mr. Todd Hobson-Powell?
My closing remarks is this: the future of activism requires activity. Do some shit. Don't just say some shit, do some shit. A lot of people like to talk, but they don't like to do things. A lot of people like to engage with their lips around the things that they say they care about, but they won't use their feet or their ability, because I'm not going to be ableist, their ability, right, whatever that is, to show up for that shit, to really be passionate and truly be engaged. And so, I mean, like, when I think about, and I say this all the time, organizer is a functional word. It means you got to be organized some shit. Activist is a functional word. You have to be active around a cause or around a set of causes. And so, like, if you are going to choose to self-identify, at least live up to the title. Otherwise, it's going to be kind of confusing. Like, I see a lot of activists, but I haven't seen action. And I see a lot of organizers, but I don't see any sort of organization, not with themselves, not with their lives, not with how they show up in community, not with the shit that they organize. So, you know what I'm saying? And that's not a sneak diss. That's just, it's real shit. It's like, these words matter.
Yeah, words, I was gonna say, let's get back to the Latin roots of it.
Words have meaning. Like me and Saba always talk. Like, I'm a stickler. I'll be like real particular about little shit. Like, cause words are intentional. Like, every single thing that you say has a meaning. So if you calling yourself an organizer, please be out here organizing something. And if you're an activist, just get active, man. Just do something.
Yeah, just be active in your community.
Nobody can tell you what that has to look like.
Exactly.
You just have to do it. That's the thing. Like, nobody can tell you what it has to look like. You just have to do it. So, like, if you find a way to be active and that works for you, cool. You know what I'm saying? Just do something. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Chance favors those in motion. And, I mean, if you want to lean to scripture, faith without works is dead. At some point in time,
say it again.
You know what I'm saying? Faith without works is dead. You got to do the work. You got to put the work in. Like, the miracle that a lot of people be looking for is in the work that they're avoiding. It's all right there. It's like we got to grind. There's no easy way up. There's only like a calculated way up. You know what I'm saying? There's a calculated way up. There's that. It exists. Like, it's very rare as you just going to just have success in anything, sort of just overnight or whatever, but like, just a sustained effort is definitely going to get some shit done. So keep it going, stay encouraged. I don't know, just hug your folks, right? Like,
that's good advice. Make sure to tell your mom you love her.
You know what I'm saying? Like over the course of this pandemic, I've lost loved ones, like, some to the streets, some to just life in general, and like, on the back end of that, wish that I had engaged maybe more meaningfully in the moments that I had with them. Found a way to make time for them as a priority above some of the other stuff. And I say all that to say, like, look, organizing is important, right? But don't like lose your mind, lose your sense of family, lose your sense of intimacy, all these connections. Trying to be the one Superman, Superwoman to change the world. Like, don't drive yourself crazy. Don't burn yourself out, burn those bridges behind this work. Let it be something that works, you know what I'm saying, hand in hand, that complements each other. Because you're gonna need that outside life to help sustain you in this. Like Sol would tell you, like it's exhausting work. And in a world where it's usually overworked and underpaid, you're gonna need them hugs to come home to. You're gonna need, you know what I'm saying, just a shoulder to cry on, somebody to talk to. So don't, you know, in the pursuit of all these changes and actual capital, miss out on the social capital that exists, the human capital that exists around you, and your friends and your parents, your loved ones, because that's ultimately what matters the most. And like you're gonna do more to, I feel like, do some revolutionary change if you just change the way you're loving on your folks and your people in your community and start there and scale it up there, and then just build it as a consolidated effort once you guys got a shared agenda. So
manifest. Thank you for giving us those final words. And honestly, my final words that I would say is back to the point of encouraging young people. No one ever asked me to start Black Terps Matter with my friends. Did anyone ever ask you to start Concerned Citizens? Yeah, no one ever asked Ty to start Concerned Citizens, but it's important that we did. It's important that we just started it. We didn't think too much about it. We didn't get too caught up on like what the future was gonna look like at the point that we started it. We just started, and honestly had no idea that. Honestly,
they're trying to take us out.
They're trying to take us out. Almost done. Okay. Honestly, I had no idea that Black Terps Matter was going to become a impactful platform on the campus of the University of Maryland. Our only intentions were to be heard and get some meetings, right? And we didn't even get any meetings. So to some points, like some people would say that that's a fail. But at the end of the day, we still had a list of 10 demands that we delivered to the president, and we worked on those demands for months and months until we got those demands accepted. And now there's a list of 25 demands, and 7 of our original 10 demands are on that list of 25 demands. So what is most important is being continuous in your work, being continuous in the fight. Like he said, like if you consider yourself an activist, make sure that you are active in your community. I consider myself a protester. I'm a frontline protester. Part of the reason that I do it is because other people won't. And it takes bodies, it takes us as people to come together and do it. And as hard as it is, and as thankless as the work is, I know that in the future, it is going to, I'm going to look back on it in the future, and I'm going to be thankful that this is what I spent my time doing, trying to change things and make it more positive. And that's honestly why I decided to curate the Black Terps Matter Experience, because I had the opportunity and I wanted to seize the opportunity and take advantage of it. No one asked me to start up the Black Terps Matter Experience 2 years after we started Black Terps Matter as a coalition, but I did, and we're here. And now this is the 4th one, and now we're finished with the 4th one. And the point of the Black Terps Matter Experience was to create a set of events that people could look back on at any point in the future and see what people were talking about in 2022 and learn some more about these topics, and that's what we were able to do. And I'm very, very happy about that. So shout out to the activists, shout out to the organizers. If you're an activist in the future, you're looking back on this, shout out to you. And yeah, that is just the Black Terps Matter Experience. And so y'all can follow us on Instagram. Y'all can follow at Black Terps Matter. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow at Saba Speaking on Instagram and Twitter.
Hey, look, we need to be in the future, so I could just be like,
right?
All right,
hologram.
Follow me right here and shit. Ty Hobson-Powell DC, Instagram. Ty Hobson-Powell, Twitter, and Concerned Citizens DC, man.
Yeah, follow Concerned Citizens. That's the future for real. That's the future. Concerned Citizens. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Black Terps Matter Experience 4, and we're out. So, yeah. Have a nice night, y'all.
Boom.
Boom.
I think that went well.